Hi there beautiful souls, Avalon here, and I would like to do a July favourites video. So I have with me here a few crystals, a few decks, a few divination tools, a few oils, sprinkling powders, art supplies, that kind of stuff that I've really been digging. And so let's get in there and have a little look-see. Okay, so I'll start with the decks, and the first deck that I have to share with you is the Sun and Moon Tarot. And the Sun and Moon Tarot is a US Games Systems deck, and it is a Thoth inspired deck, and it's got a really groovy energy to it. Now, I was gifted this deck. It came as a surprise gift, and I thought, yay, and I had it sitting on my shelf, not for too long. Isn't that a beautiful card? And I finally cracked it open, and I debuted it on a Spread This Witches, and I was on Spread This Witches with Alora Chase, and the guest on that day was Arwen, the professional joy seeker. And I literally had the most incredible experience straight off the bat with this particular deck, to the point where I just pulled it aside and I said right there in that live Google Hangout that this deck felt like it was talking to me, personally to me, and that I could no longer use it for client readings. And so I have worked with this deck non-stop. Every day I have pulled epic cards, asking incredible questions, looking for inspiration, looking for direction, especially as I've just launched my tarot deck, and that so much was like just going on around me, and I needed some centered energy and wisdom. I went to this deck here and it did not disappoint. So it is now one of my absolute favourite tarot decks. I never would have guessed. Judging off the bat, I never would have guessed, but it is one of my absolute favourites. I feel so kindred to it. It feels like an old friend to me now, and I have a tremendous respect for that deck, and I feel like it speaks a language that I feel very comforted by. So I'm really loving that particular deck right now, and giving it very good enthusiastic thumbs up and big recommendations. So since I naturally started with tarot, I'll show you the second tarot deck that I'm having a really good time with, and that became a favourite, and that is the Green Witch's Tarot by Anne Moira, published by Llewellyn. And the Green Witch's Tarot was one that I instinctively grabbed for the Ritual Tarot course that I designed for Ethany's Tarot Summer School. I found this deck to be beautiful. It's not exactly my style of art, but it is still very beautiful, and I found that as I began using it, as I began laying the cards out, that I was having a really nice moment with this deck. I did path working and meditation with this, I did comparisons with this deck, I laid it out, and it was so visually pleasing to me. And so I started to read with it and use it for client readings, and use it a little bit for myself, but more for client readings than for myself. And what I found was it has a really sweet guiding voice, and it's a very beautiful deck. It's got a fresh young energy. It doesn't have the horror elements that I particularly enjoy personally, but it still doesn't necessarily diminish the arcana or any of the power trumps in that regard. So I really quite enjoyed this deck. I think it's beautiful. I think it's a great deck for meditation and path working because it does have so many visual elements. It's Rider-Waite-Smith inspired. It does have a few alternate names in the majors, but for the most part it stays relatively traditional to the Rider-Waite-Smith system. So a beautiful deck, and a great one for learning with as well. Even though it strays a little bit from the Rider-Waite, the energies are still there, they're beautifully represented, the imagery is, you know, great to connect with, easy to connect with, and it tells a beautiful story, and so it has that energy to it that is quite pleasing to me from a pagan perspective. So that is the Green Witch's Tarot. The next deck that I would like to show you is an oracle deck, and it is the Oracle of the Mermaids by Lucy Cavendish, and the artwork for this particular tarot deck has been done by the lovely Selena Finesh. And so this particular oracle deck is not all hugs and laughter. There is a sensual darkness to this particular oracle deck, and it's quite balanced to me. There are some elements within there that really kind of spook me, and I like that. I like being triggered in that way. It gets me thinking, it gets me out of my shell, out of my comfort zone, it gets me to consider things, so I find it very necessary. Very necessary to me personally. The artwork for this particular deck is absolutely stunning. Selena Finesh does beautiful artwork, and I drew this card this morning, Honor the Masculine. It's a funny story. But there is, you know, a beautiful art behind it, and there are beautiful sentiments. The key words are bang on. They are something that you can relate to. They are something that work well within the context of a tarot reading. So I just did a couple of client readings then, and I used this particular oracle deck and absolutely wove beautifully into both decks. I used it today alongside the Bonefire, and I used it today alongside the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot, and it looked great. It looked great in both settings, and it worked really well with the energies present in the tarot portion of those readings. So absolutely lovely. And I've had this deck for a while, but every once in a while I revisit my collection and I'll just grab a few of the, you know, old favorites. And this was a good time for Blue Angel. They put out some really beautiful oracle decks, and I'm waiting for them to put out something else that is of this caliber. You know, they've had the Sacred Rebels, which I really like, but I want something a bit more Selena Finesh because I do really enjoy her artwork. So that was the Mermaid Oracle, or Oracle of the Mermaids, I believe it is. So there you have it. The last oracle that I'm going to show you is the Sacred Creators Oracle by, let me see if I can get that. Ooh, it's a bit glary. Yes, there it is, by Chris Ann Donnelly. This is a beautiful deck. Look at the backing of it is just so lovely to me. If I can get it to stop being so glary. It's gilded, it's brushed edges, which is nice. It's not foiled, it's brushed. And I really like that. And this particular deck is non-pictorial to a degree. It has these beautiful little designs, but it is not bursting with images. And this deck I have found to be so uplifting. I find that from now on, especially, this is something that's cemented for me through the month of July, that just as I open all of my readings with soul cards, I am now closing all of my readings with the Sacred Rebels Oracle because of the way that it pulls out empowerment from within. It's a message that doesn't need to be divined, nor does it need to be explained. It is a message for you. It's a message for me. It's a message for the client. You just read it and you feel so good. You feel so understood. You feel so inspired. It's just a beautifully healing deck, and a deck that really inspires a lot of confidence, a lot of adventure, a lot of just all the good stuff. All the good stuff. It inspires all the good stuff. So I really love it, and it's 400 GSM, and it's beautifully presented, and it comes with an absolutely lovely, beautifully laid out guidebook and a very sturdy box. I have neither close by. I probably should have thought of that ahead of time, but I did not. So this is really about the deck itself, but I might do a review of it. I did do an unboxing of it, so if you want to see how it comes, I'll link the unboxing in the description bar below, and I might do a further review of it in future. So that was the Sacred Creators Oracle by Chris Ann Donnelly, who is a delight of a soul, I must say. Okay, so the next portion of my favourites was not anticipated, and that is the beautiful chair that I'm sitting on. This very beautiful office chair that I'm sitting on, which is very, very lush and is a bit more ergonomic. Now, I found that I was having horrible back pain, lower back pain especially, and I would sit here at my table in my office sometimes for 16 hours on a solid wooden chair and stand up and just feel like absolute horror. No amount of yoga was fixing what I had going on. And so this chair came into my life at just the right time, particularly when I've got so much writing to do for my tarot deck now, and I've got to tell you, it makes my day better. It is absolutely a favourite of mine, and it has proven to be an asset to me throughout the month of July, particularly because of the rigorous nature of the type of sitting work that I've had to do, where I've been bent over a keyboard doing all this kind of crazy business, and you know, now I have something called lumbar support. Who knew I needed it? But it's fabulous, and so my chair gets an honourable mention in July's in July's favourites. So see, I really went all out in my favourites selections. Okay, so from chair we go to crystals, and I would like to point out two crystals. Three actually, I've got three. So the first is this beautiful clear quartz arrangement of stones that just sort of blew my mind, and this is it here. Look at this groovy cylindrical arrangement of stones. It is so awesome. Look at that. And this came in a massive crystal care package that my beautiful friend Cherie sent to me. So she sent me a whole bunch of crystals and some of her incense, which I love, and that was one of them. And I was so taken by this shape, I was so taken by this arrangement, by this faceting, whatever it is that you would call it. I was just so taken by it. So I have been sitting with it on my space here and rolling it between my hands, and as I roll it between my hands I have these delicious meditative experiences. It feels a little bit akin to ASMR, for those who have ASMR or who are triggered. It feels a little bit like that. It doesn't last for oodles of time, but I'll just sit there very like this and just allow it to really sort of work over me, and it's so relaxing to me. And I find that to be odd when considering quartz specifically, because it's such a conductor of energy. But I find it very soothing. Perhaps it's the action, perhaps it's the crystal, perhaps it's both. So it's made it into my favourites for July. Okay, the remaining two crystals are of the same family. And so I have a piece of selenite here, and I have a piece of peach selenite. So very different colours, same crystal family. And so I have already told people how I love to use this peach selenite. Oh, I find it so relaxing. It is just so relaxing. And selenite to me, I have pieces of selenite in my house already, mainly spheres of selenite, and they're in my bedroom because they're known as a sleep aid. They're very soft though, they have a very low Mohs hardness, and they are water soluble, so if you hit this with water it'll start to flake and come apart. So I really love how genuinely delightful selenite is to work with, and how I need more pieces of like this, more natural pieces of selenite in my life, because I feel wonderful when I have them in my space. And it's not a stone that I have an awful lot of. Like I was just saying, I have large pieces in my bedroom, but I need more of these. I need more of these, like way more of these, and bigger ones of these, because I'm having a really great time, and both of them work really well together. They complement each other, and which makes sense, I guess, because they're of the same family. One's peach selenite, one's, you know, standard white selenite. But at the same time, you know, you never know, you never know. So I'm having a great time with selenite from a meditative perspective, and for a general mindfulness perspective. I've been using it, I've been holding on to it while I do a little bit of meditation. I have been holding on to it when I'm preparing myself for spirit work, and that's proven to be very, very, very good to just help to clarify my auric field and to assist me to drop down those barriers a lot quickly when I'm doing spirit work. So it's something that I sit with before, and then I'll begin to prepare my space, and everything will come together really beautifully from that point on. So I've really liked the use of, or the energy of, selenite, both peach and regular selenite. So they are my crystals for the month of July. Pretty nice, hey? Okay, so the next items that I would like to show you are a little bit art journal related. So I participated in One Book July, and I used my Midori. I put together a signature for myself, utilizing my awesome friend Erin of A Wild Light, who is a journal connoisseur and a great artist at that. And I went to her place and I pulled apart some of the signatures that I hadn't quite used already, and I put together the signature for One Book July, and threw in a few pages of watercolor paper, a few art pages, a few you know craft paper, that kind of sketch paper, that kind of stuff, and then heaps of Toma River paper, because I had a Toma River insert. Anyways, doing One Book July. This is my Midori. My Midori is also my wallet, and I was using the Micron pen. All of my favorites. I actually went out to buy a new Micron because I like the Micron 01 in sepia. I'm a bit of a sepia lover for my pens. Anyway, so because I was doing One Book July, art became a thing for me again, which was really nice because I needed it. I figured that I needed to fill that void and kickstart my arting without judgment again, because I had been so busy that I hadn't had any time whatsoever for art. So I really decided to jump into One Book July, and just loved it. And so I was inspired to purchase some Daniel Smith watercolors. Now, I am a huge lover of Daniel Smith, especially the watercolors. I think they only do watercolors. I don't actually know too much about Daniel Smith as a company as a whole, but I know a lot about their watercolors. And I just really wanted some more Daniel Smith, and I have one tube of Daniel Smith, and then KP sent me a little pre-poured set of six or 12, I think it was, pre-poured Daniel Smith watercolors in the tone of red, so in different tones of reds and pinks with gold in there. And so I needed some other colors to go with that, so I got Shadow Violet a while back, and then I got this one. This is my absolute, just like, oh yes, this is Lapis Lazuli, and that's Lapis Lazuli Genuine. So this actually has crystal lapis lazuli in it. And then I got the Rose of Ultramarine, which is a nice purple. I really wanted amethyst, but the lapis lazuli Genuine is a series 4, and it's about $50 for that tube, 50 Australian dollars for that tube. And so I needed to go for 2 series 1s just to keep things like calm down, you know. And so I got Phthalo Turquoise and Rose Ultramarine, so I got those. They are my absolutely exquisite watercolor purchases, and I'm just so in love with them. And I just got to say that I had a fun time with that. So they are my little art colour paint favourites for the month of July. Okay, so in keeping with the art theme, I fell in love with my Prismacolors again, and these are Prismacolors. Oh, that's probably a really bad one to show you. I'll show you this one here because it's a little bit more visible. These are Prismacolors. They are a colouring in pencil. Yes, they are an expensive and a delicate colouring in pencil. And this little pack here is the Jane Davenport selection. So they're all Jane's favourite colours. And I have been using the beautiful Prismacolors for my One Book July project. Great for cheeks and lips for my personal particular stuff, and I have really come to love this colouring in pencil, and also the white and the extreme blending capabilities of the white pencil. So I get it now. I get why people ooh and ah over Prismacolors. They are indeed expensive, but they are so worth it for the awesome outcome you can get. So I'll show you a little bit of what I did in my One Book July so that you get an idea of how I used some stuff. Okay, so this is the signature that I used for One Book July. I had the cover is a Linserts cover, and the inside is Toma River paper. And so that's the first time I drew and collaged anything that was non-human looking. So don't judge, I'm just sharing you a little bit of stuff. That's all Prismacolors, which I had a really fun time with. That's Daniel Smith, and what do you call it? And Micron. That's more Daniel Smith. More Micron there, and Daniel Smith there. And yeah, I've got flourishes of Prismacolor and Daniel Smith through them all. So I shan't show you any more. There's quite some personal stuff in there because I've had a lot of stuff going on this particular month, and so it's been full on in that regard. But I have really enjoyed the simplicity of One Book July and the creative ignition that has come as a result of it. So if you are interested in One Book July, then just remember it for next year, because there's such a beautiful community of One Book July participants that happen every year. So yay for One Book July, and for all the beautiful community that's out there, and yay for my super awesome art supplies. Okay, so next I have oils. I just have two, and the two oils that I've really used and loved so much. The first was the Come To Me oil, which was included in June's Moon box, and it smells like sacred divinity. It really does. It is so delicious. And I've been wearing it on me as a perfume because it smells so good. I've also been using it in Magical Workings, obviously, to attract to me, and I just find this to be one of my absolute favourite oils at the moment, and it is just so beautiful. Look at all that natural botanical floating around in there. It's absolutely delicious, and the smell is the next oil that I've got to show you. I've got a thing with like botanical infused oils at the moment. Like, that was very rich in plant matter and botanical. Look at that. And so too is this. Look at that. This is Lilith's Potion Roll-On Perfume, and it is made by the Dominia Lunea Apothecary. Oh my god, it just smells so good. So these two have been absolutely just too yummy for me this particular month. I've used so much of this Lilith's Potion. I've used so much of the Come To Me oil, and they're both quite strong, so you don't need oodles of them, so they're going to last me a while, thankfully, because I'm going to cry when I run out. then I have the sprinkling powder. So here's a little sprinkling powder that came from the Dominia Lunae. If I could just say it, would be so much better. I'd feel so much better, but I really have to think hard about how it's pronounced. Anyway, this is a traction powder, so it works really well with the Littlest Potion and the Come to Me. So it's drawing opportunity and things that I need to me, and I've really loved using this particular one, sprinkling it all over my creations. So it's very, very lovely. And that's my sprinkling powder this time around. Then of course is my divination charm set. This has been so much fun to use. It was created in July, utilized in July, and I just love this particular set. Although, you know, I'm going to make another one hopefully soon and see how that one goes, but I won't open it and take everything out of it here. I have done a special video on this one, and I'll link that video in the description bar below so you can have an up close and personal look at this particular set and see what I like about it, what I don't like about it, all that kind of good stuff. So that's my divination tool for the month of July. I had so much fun with this. I've got to tell you, I've got a real knack for it, even if I do say so myself. It's been so fun. I really liked it. I didn't know that I would like it that much, but I really liked it. So yes, my divination charm set. Yay! Okay, now lastly are my smudges. So I've really been enjoying the Dragon's Blood and Sage smudge that came in the Moon box, and also I have been using a lot of Palo Santo of late. This is Cedar and Sage, which I've been using also, especially during the season of Yule. I find the cedar has that protective and refreshing capacity to it. The Dragon's Blood and Sage brings the essence of wisdom and magic intertwined, and the beautiful Palo Santo brings the energy of spirit and just lifts the vibration in general. I love to use them just before and after I do my readings, so I've been having a really great time with those, and my room is so fragrant as a result of it. So yes, there you have my smudges for this cycle of July. Okay, that is it for my favorites section of this video, and I just thought that I would do just a quick little update of what's been going on. So for me, in the month of July, I launched my Bonestone and Earthflesh tarot deck for pre-orders through my Etsy store, and it was amazing. It was amazing. The outcome, the result, it was absolutely amazing. I was blown away at how well the deck was received by people, how enthusiastic people were about the deck. I had no idea. I was oblivious to it or ignorant to it, or just, I don't know, it escaped me, but I was so blown away with just the incredible turnout for that particular event launch. And oh my god, I just still can't believe it. It makes me feel all nervous on the inside. But that happened, and I have, you know, I have decks up for grabs right now. I think there's around the mid-70s, and I pre-ordered 300. I was going to say 700, but that's not true. 300 decks went up for pre-order, and yeah, it's been incredible. Along with that, the Ritual Tarot course that I had put together for Ethany's Tarot Summer School launched on the 4th of July, and that was incredible as well. And I've been getting some beautiful feedback and seeing people do videos inspired by some of the stuff that I have been talking about in the Ritual Tarot course, and that just makes me feel pretty freaking awesome on the inside, I've got to say. Like, I'm proud of myself. Like, I'm very proud of myself. So that has been going on. I've also had Coven stuff going on, Yule especially, which was like, wee! Had an incredible fun Yule, and been doing One Book July, and had lots of stuff going on with the kids. My husband ended up in hospital unexpectedly, my father visited, my mother-in-law visited, my sister visited. Like, I've had lots of stuff going on here, and I'm just, you know, July was crazy, like so crazy. I'm really thankful for August to see if we can just sort of calm down a little bit, you know, just a little calm, just a little bit more calm, a little bit more organised chaos rather than full blown out chaos. So let's see how that goes. Anyways, I sincerely hope that you have enjoyed this July favourites video, and if you liked it and you want to see another one like it, then give it a thumbs up. Say a yes down below. If you've made a July favourites video and you would like me to see it, then let me know that you've made it so I can go and check it out. And if there's anything that you would like to see in July favourites, any elements that you would like to see, let me know. So, with all that said and done, mwah, please look after yourselves. Bye!